The tricky bit will be not spoiling this for you. Mission Impossible Fallout, released in 2018, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Budget of 178 million, a domestic take of 220 million, international take of 570 million, giving us a worldwide total of 719, and a total profit of $613 million, not including marketing and associated costs. Starring Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, and Sean Harris. Also starring Angela Bassett, Vanessa Kirby, and Alec Baldwin. Now, how do I do this without wrecking the movie for everybody else? That's the question. Characters. Well, no surprise here. All the characters are really good. The returning characters, some of the new characters, especially Henry Cavill, he's a monster. Love him in this. That internet famous scene where he steps up and cocks his fists, yeah, that's an awesome scene. And the mustache, he rocks an intimidating mustache. That mustache is a weapon all of its own. You can see why the studio refused to shave it off for the, what was it? Justice League. That movie. Rhames is good, Pegg is good, Ferguson's good, and Sean Harris as the villain. Now secondary villain, but the villain nonetheless. He's intimidating as. He's just a creepy guy, and I love the way that he does that character. But once again, they've managed to write and present all the characters as engrossing. The broker, the White Widow, she's great. She's kind of creepy, cool, psychotic in that weird, nasty sort of way. And it's great. The director of the CIA, she's as underhanded and dangerous as you'd expect her to be. Baldwin's character is fantastic. As always, he does such a good job as that character. All the characters are top quality. Not a single one annoys you. Not a single one doesn't get its moment. This woman, she's like, what, in it for maybe a 1 or 2 minute scene? She doesn't get a name. She's a background cop in France. Even she's great. I wanted to see more of her too. Even the thugs and the henchmen look exactly what they're meant to look like. Perfect for every scene. Everything about it is really good. You notice I haven't talked about the main character, Ethan. Mainly because the story arc he goes on is a journey that I'll just, you know what, you should watch that yourself. Yeah, I know I'm just vaguely babbling about how wonderful everyone is, but I really don't want to ruin this for everyone. Suffice to say, the characters score an easy 4. I really don't like it when I rhyme. Story. Okay. Not spoiling the movie, talk about the story. Okay. So if I think. The story is really good. The story is very well written, very well designed. The way it weaves in and out of all manner of scenarios, goes from problem to solution to problem to solution. Actually, that's one of the things that stands out about this. This is not just one mission where they succeed at the end. This is multiple missions all strung together through desperate circumstance and requiring different approaches. It actually felt like several smaller stories all stitched together. You could have made a TV series, you could have made a mini series out of this movie. You'd be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'd probably get a 5th episode in there as well. This could be a 5-part mini series, and one of those episodes would be all about the background stuff happening while everything else is getting set up. There's that much happening in this. From the very start, when the thing happens and they've got to go chase the thing, which turns into multiple things, and then it becomes a mega MacGuffin hunt as they're chasing what happens to... There's no spoiler things, much harder than I realized. No, maybe. They managed to up the stakes whilst keeping it fairly realistic, and they also managed to tie this in heavily to the previous movies. Each movie seems to tie into the previous ones a little bit better than the last one did. And this is no exception. This really does feel like a continuing saga. Look, before I ruin it by accident, I think I'll call it there. Let's just say that the story for this one, I'm going to go and give it a 4.25. It's really good, and it ties so much together. Look and feel, well, no surprise. It's incredibly well polished with a brilliant finish to it. And if it wasn't for the fact that you know that Tom Cruise is insane and does a lot of these ridiculous stunts in real life, you'd say that the CGI is spectacular, except I don't think they use very much CGI. I'd say they use some good old-fashioned camera tricks. I'd say some of those close calls aren't as close as they looked. When he's tearing... Alright, different example. When he's tearing down the street, he's on a motorbike, weaving in amongst traffic. A lot of the times it's filmed from the side, so what looks like a close call from a car's probably not that close at all. Or he really is threading the needle like a madman, which is entirely possible as well. So we'll focus on the way the movie's shot instead. The action cam and the angles used are just brilliant. The way the whole thing is stitched together is spectacular. It's seamless. There are sequences in here where I'm pushing back into the seat because I'm trying to get back from the action. It's just happening so fast and so furious and constant and just knife edge adrenaline stuff. It's just so good. And it takes you everywhere. It takes you on the water, takes you in the car, takes you on a motorbike, takes you in planes, helicopters. It takes you all around the world. It takes you quite a few places we haven't been yet as well. The tech looks good. It looks super science, but it looks believable super science. It's like that half step down from a James Bond movie. And the way that they present all the characters, in particular Henry Cavill, in his whole look and demeanor and stance, his just pure physicality that they bring to the screen with this guy, so good. Once again, look and feel, it's going to get a 4.25 because it's just that good. Script and dialogue. Well, okay, this one, to begin with, is not as funny as the other ones. That's not a bad thing. You got to have a serious one every now and then, right? There's still got some good humor in it, some good circumstantial and situational humor, and as just the ridiculousness of what they're doing, dawns on the characters. Then you can see it on their face as they're trying to rationalize these choices they're being forced to make. The dialogue is quick and clever and full of detail. You got to pay attention. You really do. A lot of hints are given away in background conversation or side conversation. Background conversation isn't right. What I mean is it's not always in the foreground of the circumstances. A lot of things are just said, and if you don't catch them, you'll miss them, but then you'll realize it was probably important later on. In fact, that may be the only downside for this film. A lot of the key information is delivered to you either obtusely or a little quick. And unless you're prepared to mentally take notes or actual notes as you go along, it can actually get a little lost in the complexities of this one. Having said that, they do keep wrapping up each section and giving it to you on a plate. So, oh, wasn't that nice? Do you understand now? And so they do actually explain it to you as you go along, which is a good thing because it's easy to miss some of those intricate details. There's one particular word that floats in and out of the script. And, it comes into play in a big way at the end. But, if you weren't paying attention, you'll be wondering why on earth they end up where they end up. On a side note, Henry Cavill's voice doesn't sound real. It sounds too good. It sounds too pitch perfect, too heroically accurate to be a real voice. But it is his voice because I've watched a lot of his interviews. It's just crazy how well he can turn a phrase. So overall, the script and dialogue is good. It's really good. But unless you're paying particularly close attention and you can remember a lot of the previous movies, some of it will be lost on people. Some of it might be just a bit too complicated and tricky for its own good. So I'll be giving it a 3.75. Fun factor. Well, they certainly know how to step up the intensity in this one. This is nuts. When they're doing the things that they're doing, you just kind of can't believe what's happening. And you love it. You're enjoying it so much. And even when the most ridiculous things happen, they then show you how or why or what made it happen and why it's actually movie plausible. There's no way that this movie should technically survive scrutiny, either after the movie or during the movie. But it does. It still holds up very well, and I had such a blast watching this. I enjoyed the action, I enjoyed the dialogue, I enjoyed the comedy when it was there, and the drama was nice too. Makes me want to go back and watch all the other movies consecutively, because that way I know what I'm looking for, and I can stitch the whole thing back together again in my head. Fun factor, it gets a 4, no problem. Final score, we add this all together and we get a 20.25. I think that might be a record high. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, it's a good movie. I absolutely recommend this film. However, if you haven't seen the previous movie, if you haven't seen Rogue Nation, then this film isn't going to make as much sense as it should. You've got to watch Rogue Nation and then Fallout for the best experience. So that's my review of Mission Impossible Fallout. Thank you for watching, and thank you to the subscribers that just brought me up past 110. I'm really quite happy with that. As usual, please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you're having a great week and that you make some time to go and watch a movie.